Can I have burgers and fries? Haley cocked her head to the side, asking politely. Of course you can. You can have everything you want today. Natasha smiled at her. Yay, we're having burgers and fries. Haley cheered excitedly. Dustin and Natasha exchanged a look before smiling at each other. How pure a child's happiness was. Just then, Natasha saw something out of the corner of her eye. Her eyes widened in shock. Watch out! What? Dustin felt a sense of foreboding as he looked over and saw a huge truck speeding toward them. The truck had run a red light and seemed to have lost control as it went in their direction. Dustin could only turn the steering wheel as hard as possible to avoid getting hit. Not only did the truck not attempt to avoid them, it even accelerated toward them. In the end, the truck rammed into the side of their car. Bang! There was a loud crash as their car was sent flying. It tumbled several times before finally skidding to a halt. A long skid mark was etched into the ground, and debris from the vehicle littered the ground. Everything happened so suddenly that there was no time to react. Dustin reflexively used his body to shield Natasha at the very last moment, but she still suffered a head injury and scratches on her body when the car was tumbling. Natasha, are you all right? Dustin's expression turned grave. I'm fine. Quick, check on Haley, Natasha shouted weakly. Haley. Dustin turned around to check on her and found Haley unconscious. She was flipped upside down, with her head on the ground and her feet in the air. Her right arm looked misshapen, and her ribs may have been broken. Blood flowed out her mouth and nose, and the broken glass shards had cut her skin. She was severely hurt, and Haley was not the only one hurt. Cecilia didn't look like she was faring any better. Cecilia's face was covered in blood, and her limbs looked misshapen. Her stomach must have suffered from the impact, too, as her water broke and she bled from her stomach. Cecilia! Haley! Dustin shouted. They were both unconscious, and neither of them responded. He quickly got out of the car. There was a loud clanging sound as he yanked the deformed car door open and pulled Cecilia and Haley out. They were both heavily injured. Dustin had no choice but to perform acupuncture on the spot to stop their bleeding. He also used his true energy to keep their condition stable. He had to keep them alive. Sir Reese. Several of the Kieran gang disciples rushed up to them. They were guards that Dustin had arranged to keep Natasha safe. They had always secretly followed Natasha, so they immediately exited their car when they witnessed the accident. Quick, send them to the hospital immediately. Once things were under control, Dustin swiftly carried Cecilia and Haley into the guard's car. He instructed them to send them to the hospital immediately.